That'll be for May. Yeah, when you've got Yokozuna getting booked twice in one night, that's not usually a recipe for success. I mean, Yoko had the rep for working very soft, very light. You wanted to work against it because it looked ferocious. It's so big, you know? And they didn't necessarily have the best matches, the most exciting ones, but guys looked working against him because the stuff looked believable and by and large it didn't hurt him. And he's also really tough too. But he wasn't going to go out there and have a 30-minute mat wrestling classic. All right. Human resources. All right. So let's see. Trying to not spend excessively. These shows are going to grow incrementally, so as much as I would like to pay a boatload of money for Tanahashi, his popularity in the US ain't going to help me, even though his match style might. Now, Riddle, I've been considering going for him. I mean, technically, my style is King's Road. Got Lucha guys working King's Road that are having great matches, so. Meanwhile, Kitamura, not as much, even though he was right in that. And I hope in real life Kitamura catches on somewhere. Maybe Pro Wrestling Noah can bring him in. Doing that whole rebranding thing there. Retiring the Masawa Green. New logo coming out. And I don't know if they're bringing in Kitamura. I have no knowledge of that. I know that Eddie Edwards is working the show. He had some under the radar but very good matches there. His last run with Noah. Kojima. You know, one of the disappointments for the New Japan, that little run of split shows they did in the US last month, I went to the one in Nashville. And I was very disappointed that the visa thing didn't work out because Kojima, best of my knowledge, was going to be on that tour. I've never seen Kojima in person. And I've never seen Yuji Nagata in person. Nagata's 50. I mean, he still goes at an amazing rate, but, you know, time's a ticking. And they haven't brought him over at all. And it's supposed to be him over here with Ishii. And then the visa situation didn't work, and then they couldn't come. So, missed out on Nagata, missed out on Kojima. I've seen Ishii a few times, but I could never get enough. That guy's freaking amazing. I enjoyed his match with Punisher Martinez at Supercard last year. And granted, it makes me mad thinking that ROH wasted an Ishii job in less than 10 minutes to punish Martinez, but nothing against punishment, but the guy's contract was up in 6 months. I don't understand that. Anyway. You know, it's funny for people that just watch WWE and don't know anything outside of there. Seeing Carl Anderson, they wouldn't realize that he was in the finals of a G1 tournament in New Japan. That when presented properly, he can make money as a big star. Dude's really good. Yeah, I'm going to pick up Carl. Hope I can at least. I mean, they can always say no. It surprised me. Yeah, 30,000. It'll be worth it. Ah! Well, I couldn't go over 30,000. Oh well. That's disappointing. Yeah. Maybe I can get him as like just a one-off. Let's see. Yeah, invite. Let's see. This is just to bring him in for one show. Alright. Got him for at least one show. I haven't done the invite thing that much with multiple guys. Maybe they'll help me fill up the cards a little bit, at least vary it up a bit. I'm not looking to poach anybody. especially when it comes to juniors, being able to bring them in. And inherently with a game like this, you're going to have some creative liberties as far as people's ability. Look, I loved Ultimo Dragon in his prime, and he could still go. I saw him in person against Dean Malenko at Starrcade 96. Loved that match. That was, to that point, one of the very best matches I'd ever seen. Those guys. In front of a crowd that wasn't conditioned to treat them like stars, they went there and just tore it down. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. Taking somebody in that's got a title with another company, get their belts. Well, I saw on here that Shane Douglas had the ECW World Championship. He still does. Yeah, he still does. Oh, so he walked out on ECW. Look at Mike Awesome. Trying to avoid the cease and desist letter. Drop that thing in a trash can, Medusa style. 38,000. Yeah, let's try it. Haha. All right. So I wonder if I can just keep their title? Oh, that's too funny. I have to play that match. Typically, I don't. I put a bunch of videos on YouTube, just simmed matches, waiting for this mode to come out. They can come out, before a year and a half later. But better late than never. Glad to have it now. But yeah. Actually, let me check something else here. Some repairs. Oh, that's funny. I'll have the ECW World Title. Oh, that'll be good. What I was saying though about I found that simmed matches make for more compelling viewing than me playing a match, just because that's just the way it is. I'm sure if I worked at it and try and have a free-flowing match, it might work out okay. But especially with the guys that there's timing to it, the lucha dives and things of that nature, tends not to be as compelling. All right, place the sandbag or repair the sandbag. Oh yeah, that DLC coming out. I've been waiting a long time. I mean, I first played the Fire Pro game in 1996, so I'll go way back to that. And it was comical. I was watching like Stevie Richards' PS4 stream because it came out a few hours early on the PS4, and then the DLC time didn't unlock immediately. People weren't happy, but hopefully everybody got that straightened out. I hope it's worth the money to people. I mean, $20 is quite a bit. To me, it's already worth it. I never played the GBA version to be able to enjoy this element of it. Always wanted to. So. Yeah, that's a good point. I can imagine trying to work a match and have that score be high enough. I just want to get the title off of Douglas, though. How that thing's sitting around. And again, this is something where this game can't be treated as a true sim. It's not Total Extreme Wrestling. But there's a certain fun factor to this. It reminds me of baseball stars for the Nintendo, going way back, that sort of thing. We had money management. It was a fun game to play too. A lot of times those two things don't match up necessarily. I never could get the hang of gameplay in the M. Dickey games. I mean, he's got some brilliant stuff and some really creative elements to it. A lot of fun in kind of a quirky way. But I couldn't get the gameplay to where I enjoyed it. That's where Fire Pro, this elements all meld together and throwing that feeling nostalgia with it too. It's a win. That's what my merch is doing. Well, 5,000 towels and Somber no-show, and I still unloaded 80% of them. So I'm happy with that. T-shirts, I gotta hope those move a bit more. I think we're good on that for now. Again, the branded snacks, just from the few games that I watch, people tend to regret going with those. They think it's good to get in on that because it's only $10. Low buying price, but you've got to unload them all. And this seems to be the same every time, the sponsor contracts. The stipulations no match under 50%, I think is the only one I really have to worry about. Or average match evaluation must be 50% or more. Which I think I can handle that. One of my guys was complaining before. Was it? It was Gran Guerrero. All right. Yeah, if you have pretty good confidence in the snacks selling out, I guess that maybe I should think about going like the low level on those. But I'm just not sure how having multiple things for sale that impacts things. I'm giving it credit for having too much depth that it doesn't really have. Still learning things about this mode. I'm gonna do a 6-match show. I haven't done one of those yet. See if this gets me a considerable increase in fans. I love Fire Promoter so far. To me, it's worth the buy. It's $20, so I mean, you have to figure out that's, I mean, that's more than just some little, $5 add-on. It's $20. To me, though, this is the type of thing in Fire Pro I've always wanted to have. So this is one of those. I would have paid $200 to get this. That obviously is not a viable business option, but. Point being, I really like it, but it's very much a niche thing. At least that's my take on it. But so far, it's great. Yep, there's the ECW Heavyweight. That's going to be interesting. I'm going to get that belt off of Douglas. Let's see. Yeah, to me, this is definitely my money's worth. Definitely has been. Interesting. Jericho I started with as one of my 6. As I went through and did the whole thing with the free agents, and it's a pain to set it up initially. I had to go through and mess with my menus. The last stuff I had was out of date anyway. When the game first came out, it got guys that are in ROH or in NXT or that sort of thing. Well, you can set it up a lot. Like I was able to do it where you go through and set promotion by promotion who was actually in there and who from their roster would be free agents from the game. And I went really low as far as the number of free agents because I was just trying to mirror what they had as the default. Now they have these random make-believe ones in there that you start with if you don't sub anybody out. But as much as I wanted to just jump into this game right away, I did take enough time to at least set it up sort of. Go through a trial run, which is essentially what this is, to hopefully really get into it with a larger group of companies. I could work this match as Shane Douglas, go title for title, really pop the territory, and make sure I lose. That's to make sure I don't accidentally knock out Douglas. Or knock out Jericho with Douglas. Yeah, I mean, you can set it up the way you want. So I went through and set it up where it was close to real life. And actually, I can leave this screen here. I haven't saved anything yet. You start at 6. But for other companies, you can go through and set. Let's see. Once you start, you can't change it though. But I can at least give you a look at. Yeah, I mean it does. You can't just jump into it right away with, the downloaded wrestlers from the workshop. I mean, that's where the user interface with this game, another case where it leaves something to be desired. All right. I was going to pull up the... Okay, that's what I was looking for here. See how there's that's my roster, 15 out of 16. It's with WWE. Well, I don't know if I can pull up the roster on this page, but I gave Cena and Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins just left in the game here. He walked out, so I don't know what's going to happen with him. But I put guys. I mean, I had to take some creative liberties. I mean, there's not ECW anymore, but I wanted some older guys in there and try my best to get a mix of them. But yeah, I mean, you can set up however you want to, as far as if you want only WWE wrestlers and you create 10 different brands, you can do that. There's a wide variety, in theory at least, in how you can do it. But you just gotta, it's an unwieldy way to set it up initially. As long as you're willing to put in that effort, I guess. I think you can edit the championships too. I haven't done much with the belt editing. I don't know if that's something that will require a mod or if that's, I don't know. I try to delve too much into the tech stuff because it tends to get me in trouble. I'm just grateful there are people that really know their stuff with that are able to help out. All right. Maybe I can show the WWE roster or all the rosters here. Invites. Okay, yeah. So I start off with with them it was 12 or 13. So I tried to keep it even as far as for the default. If a company had 12 guys, I would put it in WWE with 12 guys or however many, and then let it go from there. New Japan, I mean, Muda obviously isn't, Muda's not wrestling for them anymore, but I went more nostalgia with the All Japan guys. CMLL, the way it worked out, I have a bunch of luchadors, but that was okay because I also created an Aero Lucha. Oh, nice. Edge. Yeah, I didn't get Edge into this one because I had that limit on total number of free agents. I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds that I've downloaded from the workshop. So Edge is TNA World Champ, huh? I can see that. Yeah, All Japan. Some guys that really work there, some that don't. Some that did way back when. But yeah, I mean, as far as similar to WWE Universe mode, from the 2K games. Now, to be fair, I haven't played that series in a couple of years. But that seems to be along those lines. It's not like a pure simulation. It's not like, you're getting down to every little detail that's going to be realistic. I mean, you start with 6 guys on your roster. But if you look at it more as a game that's kind of based as if it were a sim, but not a true sim, to me it works out well. It makes it entertaining. I mean, it's not like Total Extreme Wrestling where you make your own storylines and have all these winding plots. It's not that deep as far as it goes, but it lets you feel like you're running your own promotion and have fun in a way that this series has never made available to its players except for that Game Boy version, the Game Boy Advance version. I mean, it's not a perfect mode by any means. It's, counterintuitive with some of its stuff, but it's fun. At least it's been fun for me so far. And I'm not going to steal anybody else for the moment, or book anybody else. All right, so I'm gonna use Jericho to steal the ECW World Title from Shane Douglas. Well, I don't know if you can do title for title. I haven't tried that yet. Maybe you can. This is the way you do it. Okay, it's not going to do that. Well, that's fine. Yeah, Jericho should be able to beat Shane, but Jericho's my world champ. And I was wanting him to. I was gonna do title for title, but I don't think it'll let you do that. May do something like Kenny Omega versus Carl Anderson somewhere on here. I guess I gotta decide who I want to have take that title from Shane Douglas. No, it doesn't set up like title shots or number one contenders or anything like that. That's lacking. I wish it had that. Just like a win-loss streak for guys would be very nice to have. That's not part of it, unfortunately. That's the move. I'll have Walter beat Jericho. Or I'll beat Douglas, I should say. Semi-main. Do this the easy way or the hard way. Yeah, okay, so you're right then on that. No title for title. I wasn't sure. But yeah, it didn't seem like it was going to work for me there. So, yeah, but I mean, that's... I know there are people that... I'm not a big fan of triple threat matches, but I know there are people that are that wish they had them in here. And Grant, I guess you'd probably put in a battle royal, but I don't know. I haven't messed with it that far. So, all right. I'm going to actually work that match as Douglas. Just try not to knock out Walter, as long as I don't do that. And even if I do, it's not like there's a title on the line. Jericho. Actually. Yeah, I agree on the cage match. It's one of those other frustrations with this mode is that, yeah, if it's... I mean, look, I went to TNA Lockdown 2012 in Nashville. That made me so angry, that main event, the way they booked that. They had built up James Storm, his hometown. He was like maybe a year younger than me or a year older than me in high school. I never met the guy in high school. I never met him in person. But he was down the Franklin area. Played high school football at the same time I was, more or less. But point being, they did this big thing to build up James Storm World Championship in his hometown at Municipal Auditorium, the place where Flair and Steamboat had that legendary match, the third of their trio of matches. And how do they book it? With a screwy finish. Bobby Roode retains when he gets thrown through the cage, because TNA had to be sure to emulate the bad elements of WWE like that. Just drove me crazy. And that's the kind of booking they did, because the Sheik wouldn't do a job when they would bring him in against Bruno at MSG in 1971 or whatever. And the trickle down from that has been WWE light type promotions that have gone out, I don't know, cost themselves business. So that's the long way of saying I agree with you as far as the cage match goes. You should be able to just do one. But it would also make sense to do a cage match when it makes sense, so not like it's the theme of a pay-per-view. Anyway, more important problems like deciding who's going to go against Jericho. Oh, I know what the play is. Well, I don't know. I like the idea of Walter beating Jericho. Or beating Douglas. I said it twice now. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. I was going to give Cody a shot in the last show and switched it. So, a limited roster, make the best of it. Cody in the main event. Go and check the condition of everybody. Flyer, poor condition. Same for T-Hawk. Yeah, this game will punish you if you have somebody that's in weaker condition. You put them in a long match or something. You get busted open. End up losing them for a little while. Exactly. Yeah. You know, just that's one of the many complaints I have with WWE booking as far as, I mean, you set when it's a themed pay-per-view, then it's not even, you take all the punch out of it anyway, because the idea of the cage match to begin with, these two heated rivals that you wanted to see go at each other until one was victorious and the other was defeated, and you had the definitive thing, a cage but nobody was getting in, no manager run-ins. And that a lot of money was made that way. And they don't do it like that in many promotions anymore. And it's just window dressing in a lot of ways. It's unfortunate. Normally I would team up Omega with Jericho. You know, so their stable is Winnipeg, because that's about as far as you can fit letter-wise. Maybe 9 letters total. I forget. I haven't messed much with the stables and related because of that. Don't make it easy. Use Carl Anderson in a match, but not a title match. Because he might win. Well, let's see, I can't use T-Hawk here. Yeah. When you have limited roster space, not to be too picky when it comes to pecking order for championship opportunities. All right. Got Flyer who's hurting, and T-Hawk who's hurting. This doesn't have to be a championship match. But let's see. Shima was supposed to be in the last show and then lost his match. So we'll see how he does. Probably the Carl Anderson match spot. Try that. Carl Anderson against Barry Windham. Okay, this match is going to have to move. All right, sounds good, man. That's not what I want to do at all. That was strange. Game glitching out on me here. All right, Yoshihashi, get your match here. Definitely go through and check the times. That's the one I've got where I'm going to be working as Shane Douglas to drop the ECW World Heavyweight Championship to Walter. To make sure I don't knock him out, basically, as long as that happens. I don't have to worry about a 60-minute Broadway. All right, let's see. How many people can get this place? Oh, that's nice right there. Extra $16,000 to get 115 people? I don't think so. It's worked well. And we'll get the social media campaign boost that showed up a couple of months ago, but then I got out of the game and didn't save it, reloaded it, and then it didn't load with that bonus. So one of those things that seems to be a variable versus the game deciding this is the point where it's going to give you that bonus. It's already planned into it. Which is, in other words, that's a good thing because it has some randomness to it, just enough to keep it interesting. At least that's how it seems. All right. Try a small volume of branded snacks. It's that Toruyano curry, a new line of dishes that he's promoting over in Japan. So yeah, Jericho's had 4 successful defenses. I think it was only one champ's had a reign with 0 successful title defenses. Like this, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship in 2019, where it's bouncing around like a pinball. I think the game will reward me at some point if I end up having these secondary titles filled, but I don't really care to do that at this point. So guess what? I don't have to. Let's see, wrestler. Alright. Yes. Okay. It threw me off here because I'm at the top, but I'm actually 8th. So I moved ahead of Aero Lucha. Well, I might need to start hiring a few more junior heavyweights then. We're ready. All right. Carl Anderson against Yoshihashi. Full house. Kind of surprised that Carl Anderson turned down the contract offer. Offered the top amount. Oh, nice. That sounds about right for the Memphis territory. I've seen Lawler wrestle live a bunch of times. One of the USWA shows. Granted, these were kind of the dying days of the promotion. There's some fun shows, like in '94 when they brought Sid in. He was like one of the biggest stars around at the time when the business needed some big stars. And there he was playing softball in West Memphis, Arkansas. And from time to time actually wrestling for the USWA. And it's funny because Sid's punches are so terrible. I mean, there's not, it's not part of his strong suit, and Memphis is definitely a puncher's territory. But Sid has this presence about it, like almost like it didn't matter. So it's a nice fit for a little while, but financially the territories were dying at that point. It's a long way of saying that, yeah, Lawler with 12 defenses in Memphis sounds about right. Oh, like when you throw the chair and point at him. The Michael Elgin lost to Toru Yano a couple years ago in the G1 that everybody hated. I mean, not everybody, but... Yeah, that's the one. What's funny with the New Japan downloadable content, it's very fun to have it in the game. It still is, especially the way the music's synced up with some of them. But in some cases, I think the downloads I've got from the workshop are better. Like Hanma, actually looks like Hanma, the download I have versus one in the game. And then this isn't Yoshihashi's face, but you get that goopy hair. And then Omega called him a pudgy Dennis the Menace. Fortunately for Yoshihashi, that's what I think of every time now that I see him. Get off him now, Carl. Okay. Yeah, Carl gets the win. Yoshihashi loses. He only has 78%, but that went like maybe 12 minutes or so. What was that? Not a terribly long match. All right. Now I'm curious about this one because the game tends to not like it when you put somebody that's very popular against somebody that's not as popular. And Shima is still stuck at a D, whereas Cedric Alexander's up to an A popularity-wise in the US. So we'll see how this goes. This is where I really have to concentrate to get some more junior heavyweights under contract. I don't want to bring somebody in as a one-off and end up beating Cedric for the title. In hindsight, I really should have picked a different outfit choice for Cedric Alexander. I mean, obviously you can tell the two apart, but I tend to try to have contrasting colors when possible. Especially since the game lets you have the champion in whatever one of the 4 attires you want. Not like you have to just pick the one that they wanted in, which is a positive. Then again, if my greatest concern is the outfit for a wrestler in a video game, then I think my life's pretty okay. I love the little things in Fire Pro like that. Like when you know when somebody's getting a vertical suplex near the ropes like that, odds are they might land and fall out of the ring.
5 minutes gone.
It's little things like that that, anyways, are a throwback to the early iterations of the game back in the 90s. In a good way, though. Yeah, it really does make zero sense to have 4 attires, but the champion can only wear the one that he was wearing the night he captured the champion. Kind of a silly way to do it. So I guess presuming that I'm able to get the belt off of Douglas easy enough, it'll count me for having that ECW world title as one of my championships. Be like one of those WWF Junior Heavyweight Championships that were over in Japan or down in Mexico for years. And like when they had the 7 or 8 belts. All those junior belts unified circa 96. Yeah, exactly. Ultimo. Think of him. Sasuke. Great Sasuke. Hold those 8 belts. And then I want to think there was a cease and desist letter from the whichever one of the belts was the WWF light heavyweight or junior heavyweight or whatever it was title. And they had 7 belts for a while, and then they just had the combined championship. It made for a really cool visual, all those belts, different designs. And I'll say this for WCW. Like WWE, they don't want guys to get over more than they're supposed to. So they'll cut their legs out from under them, metaphorically speaking, when that happens. That tends to be their MO. WCW was so disorganized they couldn't even bother to do that. So you get these super talented wrestlers that would get in there and of their own volition put together these great matches. Yeah, more man than belt. Or more belt than man in that case. Yeah, it was very much a cool visual. Like, you know how WWE, almost all the championship belts look alike, which I don't understand. This is like the opposite of that because they're different belts and different promotions, sizes, and designs. Another successful title defense. Cedric Alexander retains. He's got that A-level popularity in the U.S. Yeah, you're exactly right about that, about WWE not wanting you to get over unless they want you to get over. It's like a caste system. They've got certain slotting for people. 84% there for Alexander, which considering he's going against a D-level opponent for USA, not the worst thing. It was like when Fandango got over big with his music, so they changed his music so he wouldn't get over as much. Or Aiden English got over because he's a really good singer, and they had that thing with Rusev Day. And that they weren't supposed to get over like they did, so naturally they got split up, and then nothing was done with it. I don't want to spend this whole channel as like bashing WWE because that company's got enough very obvious problems that all begin and end with Vince McMahon. But they've got a ton of cash, and they've got some big money coming in future contracts. So, credit them on that. It's just a lot of what they do frustrates me as a fan. And I want to support the wrestlers that I saw in the indie scene that are really good. I saw Keith Lee and Donovan Dijak have one of the best matches of WrestleMania weekend in Orlando 2 years ago. This highlight court, giant vaulted ceilings, these granite walls, not a place designed for pro wrestling. Yeah, Sandow, I'll talk about him in a minute, as I'll go ahead and get this match started here with Goldberg against Wyndham. But started here. Fight. Sorry to get away from there for a second. Yeah, lost my train of thought. But yeah, Damian Sandow. We're at WrestleMania 32. He was in that Battle Royal, the one that just Shaq randomly showed up. That was a cool surprise. But it was like they got Sandow in there just with everybody else, quick as they could, and then he was gone. And he was so good. They gave him almost like a death spot, being like the lackey to the Miz. I mean, the Miz wasn't treated seriously to begin with. It was like delusional Miz, which is the worst. Arrogant, actually good at what he does and knows it is. That's a different story, but they don't let him do that all the time. But Sandow was so good, he got over that stunt double thing, which was actually comedy in a funny way, which is rarely a combination in WWE because Vince McMahon's horrible sense of humor. But this got over, so eventually it was ended, and then the fans cheered him more than they wanted, so they just threw that match together on Raw one night. Miz beat Sandow, or Mizdow, and that was that. granted, I don't understand what he did, what Sandow did when he left and went to TNA with whatever that gimmick was. I don't understand it. It was TNA/Impact, call it what you will. A company with a branding problem. Prime Barry Windham versus Prime Goldberg. Like, Windham out of 86 and Goldberg 90 beat Raven. I don't know what near his heights. Would have been a very interesting match. I mean, Goldberg is so over as a face, you would think Windham would be playing the heel role. Again, these are video game hypotheticals, so I'm clear. Like what I was talking about before, though, with Fandango, where this theme song, people start singing, people are getting into it. So their answer was to change it. Goldberg's been getting after it. For some reason, with this microphone, it's got a little manual thing on it to mute, cough button, that sort of thing. But it shows like it pops the audio, at least on the display. I'm not sure if that's audible or not. Although if it is, I'm not sure what I can do about it. Wyndham's wobbling. One thing with edits in this game, it all depends on who made the given creator wrestler. I remember in the old days of this game, people always get mad if you had different edits from different people in one pack. By and large, most of these creator wrestlers I've used simulations several times, so I tend to know who's good, who's not, who needs perhaps a bit more of a boost. got a few Muda downloads. Yeah, somebody's all, their stats are jacked up, and that takes some of the fun out of it. Goldberg wins. Wyndham's 0-3. This will be a little different. Kenny Omega and Gran Guerrero, who I've never had team up before, are now challenging for the heavyweight tag team championship. Hey, Jericho's in the main event. That's Kenny's normal partner. Got to improvise. So who's going to replace David Finlay in the New Japan Cup? He's got that shoulder injury. And I have the impression that he was supposed to beat Tenzan in round 1 and then lose to Tanahashi in the round of 16. And the way Gato tends to be with his New Japan booking, he doesn't like to change things once he's decided a certain way of things going. So you can't just stick a young lion in there to lose to Tenzan. The idea is that Tenzan only has one match because the guy can barely move. His body has been through so many wars through so many years. But you don't want to have Tenzan lose to a young lion. That would be out of the order of things. Oh, there is a tiny bit of me that wants to see Shota Umino come out with red boots on for the first time and upset Tanahashi. Say, I don't need to go on an excursion. I'm 21 years old and ready to take this place over. That could be a cool way to do it. Although I think he'll be better off if he goes to Rev Pro for 6 months. He's Red Shoes' son, which gets him extra attention. But he's got a lot of promise. Problem is, for as deep as New Japan is, they've got almost everybody in the tournament. And not the junior heavyweights. They like to keep that little invisible wall there, that kind of arbitrary wall. Yeah, Tanahashi, I mean, like, Tanahashi's slightly older than me. Like, he's maybe 6 months older than me, something like that. So it amazes me to see him go out there, knowing how many injuries he has, you know, taped together and biceps, I don't know what. And he can still go out there and have a world-class level match. His match in the G1 last year with Ibushi was a work of art. But yes, I mean, it's unlikely because it would be so out of the normally order of things for Tanahashi to lose to a young lion, even if it's Umino coming out as the first time with the red boots. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's like the, you know, the 16 seed over a 1 kind of thing. You want to go with NCAA basketball comparisons. And I don't think Tanahashi was going to lose to David Finlay, but they've never had a singles match. That was going to be their chance. Pro wrestling, you never know for sure. As far as when you might be booked to get somebody again. Point being, though, is that now New Japan has to find somebody that they're okay with beating Tenzan. He was a former IWGP heavyweight champion. That company treats its legends with respect. Typically, you know, it's not like you see elsewhere. And by elsewhere, I mean WWE. But they also, when guys get shifted over to that senior circuit, kind of like where Makabe's going toward now, you know, where it's guys are not going to have as much highlighted singles matches. Yeah, Jinder is the WWE champ. I mean, well, the problem is that WWE, they've got 2 top championships. When you've got 2 champions, you've really got 0. When they had the belts unified, the WrestleMania 30 Daniel Bryan with the 2 belts, they made the one for the world. Now they don't even call it a world championship. So it's like a who's on first routine. It's a WWE championship. Which one? It's just the championship. Because they took the word worlds out of it because Vince McMahon is very strange with certain word requirements sometimes. That's the only reason I can make out of it. Jinder was put in an unfair spot. Jinder was put out in a spot where he was... The thought was this guy who's from Canada but has, very strong ties back to India was going to be this national hero of India, but in that weird WWE way of him being a heel on TV and just getting that rocket right away where the fans didn't expect it. It really didn't set him up well. And they have to do all that WWE, the scripted promos that really don't help people much at all. It really works to their disadvantage, unfortunately. Yeah, Makabe, I'm disappointed that I haven't seen him live yet. I don't think he was going to work the U.S. shows that the visa problems happened on. I really wanted to see him in person. He's a little older now. I don't have it in front of me. He's like 43, 44. He can still go, but it's, He's the guy you can put on the undercard. He's going to be entertaining. The Unchained Gorilla gimmick. You can put him on television. He's over as a mainstream, go on TV as this gorilla monster who has a sweet tooth, which makes for a great story. And he plays the role well. And they'll go out there and hit you with a spider suplex. King Kong knee drop. I think with Makabe, when he won the World Tag League with Honma, Honma was crying, and it was like legitimate tears of joy. And there was Honma was going, this guy's I'm a former IWGP heavyweight champion. This is great. And he's happy and everything. And then there was Honma, overjoyed. Yeah, you're exactly right on that Jinder build. They try to rush it, and that's a serious problem that WWE has now, where they don't follow through with any sort of long-term planning. You get almost punished as a fan for paying attention. And there's no good reason for it to be like that. I mean, they've got the collection. When you look at everybody that's under a contract for that company, it's this incredible amount of talent. But because of the way things are at the top, that talent just doesn't get utilized the way it could be. Stuff gets rushed. They plan out the Jinder thing. Okay, we have to do this. Let's make it play to his strengths. Keep shorter matches. His in-ring and his friend. But he had that physique transformation without managing to, get in trouble with the wellness policy. And it's one of those things. Unfortunately, when you get that big, it also means the more limited in ring, you don't want to have a bicep tear or something. That risk gets higher the more your muscle mass is. So all the way around, he's put in a tough spot. Like the way to build up Jinder, have him win a bunch of key matches quickly over the span of time. It was rushing. And then he wins the championship, and it means something more than it did. Yeah, Sammy He gets heat on him from time to time, which is unfortunate because he's an incredibly talented wrestler. His match with Nakamura over WrestleMania 33 weekend in Dallas, or 32 weekend, excuse me, 3 years ago, just incredible. The vibe in that building was something special that I'll probably never see again or witness again, just because it was such a unique blend of elements that led to it. I'll say this about Sami Zayn. I saw him have a good match with Baron Corbin in NXT at a house show here in Nashville. You know, I mean, to me that really said something that NXT, there's more freedom, but still there's certain guidelines they have to work within. Yeah, things don't make sense from day to day. Now that you guys are turning babyface and heel week to week, and it's like because Vince keep track of it in his head, then it doesn't matter to him. But again, I mean, if they get this massive amount of money coming in, I get that. But for wrestlers that want to be able to showcase their abilities well in the ring and not sound like robots the way they're made to cut their promos with that stilted speaking style, I mean, that's going to work to the advantage of a company like AEW. It says, okay, we're going to let you do your thing your way. Yeah, Sammy can go, that's for sure. Northern Lights. A video game that I loved the arcade, WrestleFest. A game that was really ahead of its time from a fun factor. Oh, new champs. The stretch muffler is over in this game. Hawk submits. Gran Guerrero and Eddie or Kenny Omega. New tag champs. Anyway, I'll talk more about WrestleFest later. Love that game. 100%. Yeah. Makeshift teamwork. All right, now here's the match I'm going to play. I'm going to step away for like 2 minutes. Got to get ready for this. Got to make sure I know where the mute button is here for the mic. Be right back. Okay. This is going to be interesting. All this is a little bit of a learning experience for me as far as using I've got an Acer computer, it's a regular computer, only exception being that I've got 16 gigabytes memory-wise, double what it came with. I mean, I would try playing, even just simming this game and then recording it for YouTube, just for all of those matches that I've got simmed that are up there on my YouTube account. You know, with 8 gigabytes really wasn't enough to make it where it record properly. With 16 it worked well. So I'm hardly a traditional gamer. Get old enough where it's like the new games, and I get motion sick rather easily, unfortunately. Those first person shooters are out for me. But there's some certain things that I still love. And this Fire Pro series, I mean, it's tremendous. And this Fire Promoters, I've already gotten my $20 worth out of it. And I know that's, you know, more money than some wanted to spend on it, and then understandable they might not want to. But to me, it's worth it. So there's that. All right. So here's it has. So I'm streaming live by way of OBS, which is, don't want to jinx anything, but this OBS Let's get the name right. Just OBS a 30.0.1. Yeah, motion sickness sucks. I gotta tell you, I wish they would put part of why I don't watch much WWE anymore, the shaky cam. I can't deal with it. Like, it legitimately gets to the point of making me nauseous. You know, I understand it's because maybe the punches aren't all snug and not all laying in there tight, so they don't want you to see when moves don't really hit. But I mean, these people fly around in jets all the time and are like constantly on the go. They couldn't have motion sickness to do what they do. So I don't really necessarily appreciate what it means to people. And I mean, more than anything, just like let me know ahead of time. It's going to be, you know, I had to walk out of a movie one time. I forget which one it was. The girl I was dating at the time, like circa 2011. 5 minutes in, we just had to walk out as I was almost nauseous just from, and that wasn't like Cloverfield. I never bothered to see it because I heard it had serious motion sickness issues. Not fun. And yeah, with games, I've got, like, I'll play a League of Legends online, and I've got the wristbands that people use when they fly. I've got to take Dramamine when I fly. That was actually tough for me the last couple of times out to California. Motion sickness, even with Dramamine, it was touch and go. Not any fun, but you know, there are worse problems to have it. So okay, I've got the audio going by way of this headset that just arrived today that seems to be working out properly. Oh, by way of OBS onto Twitch, which I've been on, I guess, close to 10 years if my sign-in thing was correct. I didn't think it was that long, but I guess so. But never really done the streaming thing live like this, certainly not with a microphone until now. So with that preamble, well, let's see what we can do here. Me as Douglas, and I've got a PlayStation 4 controller plugged into a USB port on the front. I got two front USB ports, one for my controller, and it works out that one that my headset plugs into. So that's worked out pretty well. So far, so good once I got it all set up. Still not ideal. I still can't hear myself in my headset. It was having an echo before when that happened. It was causing me problems. I kept locking up mid-sentence, hearing myself on a delay. All right, enough politic. Let me get to the game here. So my goal here with Shane Douglas, still the ECW heavyweight champ, is to have Walter beat him. So essentially, as long as I don't critical Walter, I can make sure that I lose. Have a good match, hopefully. Try my best. That 100% from the game before certainly helps here. As far as the overall 87% card rating on the average, so even if this one's just okay, it still should be good. Plus it's Walter, and he's got all those great chops, which kind of helps even to get someone like Douglas, who could be hit or miss work rate wise. Here we go. Although Douglas is more hit than miss, in my opinion. All right. Franchise. Great name. Taunting. It's funny to be playing. So I'm playing here and calling the game as I do it. With you all watching me. But in this, it's the generic general SCS arena. Just the outside.
1, 2, 3.
You gotta concentrate on that running knee. But I've been playing with the mods from the arenas.
7,
And
8.
you know, my art skills are rudimentary at best, but I can do Photoshop type stuff decent. And it's been fun to put like restaurants from the Nashville area that I like and random businesses, things of that nature, with little billboards on the outside of here. There's one where I turned into like yellow striping, like the yellow ring, typical like a ringside barrier being just yellow. Point being, I was having fun messing with it. So with this, it's been different from just a regular looking arena. That first year was a plain mat, and then the second year of the game, now with the sponsors, but it's kind of close, a little bit different. Careful here that I can't knock out or critical Walter, so I gotta be judicious about this.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
ECW World Championship. I'll break out a chair. Let's not lose by DQ. this game really doesn't differentiate for a title change, like how New Japan is. You never see count out or disqualification title changes, but at least in theory they could happen.
6, 7, 8.
It's a total nonsense rule when you think about it. You can intentionally get yourself disqualified and keep your championship, or intentionally get counted out.
14.
But if you're pinned, then you lose the title or submit.
5 minutes gone.
Again, and I know it's from the days when guys wouldn't do jobs and they had to come with nonsense type finishes. The Ultimate ends up being bad for business, at least in my opinion. That was one of the things I loved about ECW. That's one of those underrated traits. Actually delivering what was promised, doing their best to. Not just looking at the audience like a bunch of carny marks. That's the thing, the violence and everything certainly overshadows elements like that from ECW, but they did some really cool things. I'm still to this day shocked that nobody has tried to rip off the end of the show interview montage with what's it called, Miserlou, is that the song title name? Pulp Fiction. Brilliant Quentin Tarantino movie. Should I make sure I'm getting into the game and chatting about Tarantino and gotta make sure I don't actually beat Walter here and screw things up. Yeah, I mean, there's no logic to it as far as the count out. And why should being knocked out outside the ring for a 10 count mean, oh, you can still keep your championship? And I get the idea was that they didn't want, in the days when it was like an actual championship that was in several territories, it was going to get double crossed or, a quick ref count. But you can still have that with the pinfall anyway. So it's one of those things. It's like it's pro wrestling. You gotta do your best to suspend disbelief. Oh no! Oh, what a terrible turn of events. Oh, I'm at the book Douglas again. That's all there is to it. Wow, I was not expecting a submission there. 8 minutes into the match with Walter. Oh my goodness. All right. It wasn't even a good match. Now I've got to have Jericho beat him on the next show. All right. In the main event, so the first time having a 6th match on the show. See if Jericho and Cody can do something here. Can't believe that. Yeah, he's a free agent. That's, but I really don't want him. I just want the title belt. I mean, nothing against him, but I think he had a pretty high salary. Normally I would have been more cautious about a submission maneuver, just knowing that I didn't want to accidentally win. But I thought with Walter I was pretty safe because that guy's rugged. Not going to tap out 8 minutes into the match and lost for nope. There's also the element of being spoiled from the mods. This is just running vanilla right now, so I don't have any mods going with it. And again, I've mentioned this a few times, and I'll mention it more. What Carl Zilla has done with the mods is nothing short of amazing. And I thoroughly appreciate the work that he's done to make this really cool game even better. Actually makes for a better story to have Douglas show up once and defend it successfully, and then it builds so it's not just showing up and immediately losing the title. If there's any saving grace to it. Now, of course, the last time I booked somebody as a one-off and then did it a second time, it was La Sombra, and then he no-showed on me. Hopefully that won't happen. could be over quick. Oh. Jericho's been effective enough with that code breaker in this game.
5 minutes gone.
Lance Storm no-showed you, huh? That actually seems true to life. And I say that out of respect to Lance. He's a principled man. And not afraid to let people know about it. I'm gonna have to look at the difficulty level. That's one thing I didn't really mess with or think about because that's the first match I've played since I started Fire Promoter. Typically play on level 8. I'm just playing the game for fun. Wow. Yeah, level 9 can be good too. I've run into frustrations on the test of strength by that point. But like for Sims, that setup, Sim matches, typically level 8's what I go with. I don't know how much of a difference that even makes match-wise. 84%. At a full house. Can't believe I messed up that match. Oh well. Turn a negative into a positive. Great success. Okay, that was not a flawless show, but get yes men in this game. So AJ Styles now the WWE Junior Heavyweight Champion. Alright, so I botched the ECW title change, but we made money. Keep pinging me about these singles tournaments that I don't know are actually going to happen. This is where they're killing me with a short name. Star wrestler Scott joined ECW. That was like I think it was the video that I uploaded when I thought I was streaming and actually was recording some of the learning curve stuff I'm getting through here. But that had Ricky Steamboat retiring from ECW, but the words were kind of jumbled around. So I presume this is Scott Steiner, but I don't know. It was like when I had a scout tell me that I should hire Dean. I didn't know if he meant Dean Ambrose or Dean Malenko. Ambrose was much less expensive and a better fit, so I went with him. But yeah, the scouts seem to be worthless. I think I've seen that from other people as well. I don't see the value in them for, especially if you have no commodities. Flyer. Okay, maybe your neck will feel better suddenly, Flyer, if you get a pump and pay. Okay, Walter. I wish they made it easier to remember when we list it there. It's like, I don't want this to get to the point where I need like a pen and paper to write down things, because if I didn't pick them up that one time, they're lost. Now, granted, I'm streaming, so I can go back and watch the stream, but that's not my point. Consultation, that's where it is for the renegotiation stuff. All right, Walter. Oh, that's not too much more. I typically go with the middle one if it's somebody I want to keep happy. I guess I could go with a third level one if I really wanted to. But don't. Cedric, he deserves it though. He's up to an A in popularity. Well, that's a good idea with the tournament. To try that. Yeah, and I imagine with when I finally go through and set things up exactly the way I want it for, you know, a big. Was it 800? Is that what it's been said? I don't know if that's confirmed. 800 is the most, I guess, active wrestlers you can have, and the largest like version of it, 16 or I guess 17 companies. But a bunch of free agents. I wasn't sure if that was going to bog the game down or not. But presuming that doesn't happen, I can go through and make sure I don't have any duplicates in there. All kinds of options. That would be good to try with the scouts. It's good to know. Cedric, he's only getting 1,000 right now. Is there anyone else? Was it him? There's a B in popularity. He's a tag champion. Alright, we'll give him a small increase. Hopefully that'll make him happy. Alright. So that's saved. Alright, I'm trying to split up these videos by months. I'm going to pause the stream for just a second and then restart it and go ahead with, well, I guess it'll be June of year 2.